Dactal here, and not only do I repair lawnmowers, I also make art from lawnmower parts. See? How about this nifty one from a Recoil? Now let's go in the shop and I'll show you how I created this wall art from lawnmower parts for your man cave or in your shop. Or like me, you can put it here in your house. The first thing you need to do is you gotta find a cool old grill from an old lawn tractor, like this one that I got from a scrub cadet. Now depending on what kind of look you're going for, you can take it apart, clean it, paint it up, or you might just want to leave it the way it was, the way you found it, all dirty and nasty and original like. Now this one I took apart, cleaned, and painted that. Another thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get some 1156 LED bulbs because they don't use a lot of electricity. And then if you're like me, maybe you got a box of old transformers from all different kinds of old cell phone chargers and cordless phones and other little doodads you had, and you save them in a box like I do. But you're going to want to get ones that are between 9 and 12 volts DC, it says on there. Because they do have some that say 12 volts AC. You don't want to use them because they kind of affect the bulb. You want ones that say DC. They put out 9 to 12 volt DC. Now this is a 9 volt one, and it works fine with these LED bulbs. And you use the existing wiring from the tractor, and then you got to get yourself, a little jack, which you can buy on the inner screen for this type of plug, see? Now you're going to have a way of securing this little jack here to the grill of the lawn tractor, and what I use and what we sell on our web store is the Velcro HV350 glue. This stuff works real good, like liquid plastic. And that's what I use to glue that jack on there. And look at that thing's on there solid, it ain't coming off. Now if you don't have any of this stuff, you can go on the inner screen and you can buy an LED or a transformer, and you can even get them with a switch in it. See, this one don't have a switch, but on the wall in my trailer out there, I had them plugged into a switched outlet. So I just flip the switch on the wall and it turns it on. So you can find on the inner screen, you can get a transformer that's got a built-in switch. You may even be able to buy this switch and just wire it right in. Otherwise, you could just plug it in or unplug it. And then you got to have a way of hanging it. So I use just a piece of wire that I actually used the original screws, and then I twisted that wire so I could hang it. So there, for little or no money, you can make yourself a nice little piece of wall art, like Taryl did. Now for this one, I use the old vintage Briggs & Stratton Recoil. I like this one because it's got the stamped Briggs & Stratton. It's real old, this one. And that looked cool, and I left it with the original rust and everything on it. I thought it looked good all rusty like that. And again, this was all stuff I had laying around to make this. Now I wanted to bring out that B&S and them little ribs on mine. So again, go to old trusty Mr. Paint Pen. That's the quickest way and easiest way. You buy one of these paint pens and you can color it in. You don't have to sit there with a paintbrush and try to be all correct and everything. See, you could do that on this crawler one, because this crawler one is embossed, but you can't really see the crawler when it's hanging on the wall. So you could take the paint pen and you could paint that in. Real careful like. I'm being sloppy, but you can get real careful like. See, and it says USA on there too. You can do that, color it in. But you gotta be more careful. I'm just showing you real quick like. I ain't even got my glasses on. So what I did on this one is, I had one of these sockets. See, this is a 110 volt or 120 volt lamp socket with a switch on it. And then I bought a LED bulb because an incandescent bulb gets kind of hot. You don't want to burn your house down or burn your shop down if you got one of these. And then I took a screen, recoil screen, and I screwed it to the inside. And then I put the existing bolts back in with nuts. And then to hang it, I just used some plumber strap that you can buy at the hardware store. And then I bent it into a 90 and then bolted it through there. So that way I could hang it on the wall. And then I left the back off of it so the light would radiate around it to give it like an aura around it. And I thought it turned out pretty good. So there's something else you can make from old lawnmower parts. You don't have to use one like this. You know, maybe you got an old crawler blower housing. Here's an old vintage crawler one. And you can put a screen on the inside, mount the light up in here. Or if you got, like this one's an old screen from a different crawler, you can put on there. So just let your imagination run wild. You don't have to use a 110 volt lamp socket like I used. You can go on the inner screen and you can buy an LED light, low voltage light, that comes with a transformer and a switch, and then you could mount it in there. Or again, you could glue it in there with the HV350, which we sell at our web store. And then get creative that way. So there, you can make some nice lawnmower wall art for whatever. Your house, man cave, or your shop. There's your dinner on this. Vroom, vroom, vroom.